Hi guys, Judy here. It's um early in the morning, like 1 a.m. I haven't slept yet. I had a restful day today. Uh, I got to thinking about the vulnerability of our position as a bride in this last hour, and the vulnerability of the bride is a beautiful thing, but it's also a scary thing. To make yourself vulnerable to a person, you really have to trust them. So that goes to God, to make yourself vulnerable and to open up your heart. That's trust. And a lot of people close themselves off. I know I did that for many years because I grew up abused. So I had a tendency to keep myself closed because I didn't trust, you know. And when the Lord saved me and did so much in my life, he wanted me to not be behind that protective layer I built. And he had ways of peeling back layers of junk that we all have. Even if you had the perfect childhood, just this life is presents problems, okay, and brings up insecurities and stuff. So, but the vulnerability of believing something that you know to know so much and be given a gift to know so much in this last hour and to have so much revealed to you and then to still be here, to know so much and to know nothing at all, to proclaim boldly what you know is true and what the Lord has spoken, and yet it hasn't happened. So it's a very vulnerable position, and faith and trust is a beautiful thing in God's eyes. And it's a beautiful thing when you make yourself vulnerable to another person. You allow them, you open yourself up. Okay, you can hurt me. Okay, but you know what? It's worth it because I'm going to open myself up. And if you hurt me, you know, um, I'll get through it. It's okay. And God's not going to hurt us. That's the difference between our groom and people. I mean, he loves us. Yes, he's going to allow trials. It's going to seem like he's hurting you and being mean and all that, but he's not, you guys. He is so good. He loves us so much. The enemy in your own mind will play tricks on you and make you think that God's being mean or he's mad at you. Now, God does discipline those whom he loves, but that's the whole, all done in love. Nothing he does toward his creation, that who stays repentant um, and is seeking after him. Okay, he loves you. He's proud of you. He's on your side. And it took me years, to believe that he was on my side because the way I grew up, the very person that was supposed to help me and teach me about this world was, jealous of me and hurt me and was mean to me. I mean, that's just not normal. And so, but God took many years to teach me to trust him and to be able to trust others and to be okay with making myself vulnerable. So, what am I trying to say here? Well, when we're called to believe something for a length of time that hasn't occurred, and we've been given information and we know so much, and yet we know nothing about what's going on in our daily life, but yet we know how the world began and how it's going to end. It's a strange um, way to live. It's a strange thing because, he's making us vulnerable to others by, he hasn't backed us up yet by coming, but he will, okay? He is coming. But I got to thinking about that. I thought, that's why sometimes I have this sort of insecure feeling out of nowhere because to still be here, um, it to still be on this earth after being told to disengage and pull away from so much, and then having to re-engage on some level, not 100% for sure, is one of those things where it's a dying to yourself. It's a dying. God tells you to do something, and then He says, "Okay, now I want you to do this," and you're like, "But that seems like the opposite of what you told me to do over there." Yeah, but this is what I'm telling you to do now. And it doesn't. It challenges your faith because you're like, "Well, wait. Then does that mean you're not coming now? I don't understand, you know." And when God asks us to walk a certain faith walk at the end of time before the rapture, you know, we just have to obey our groom. He is the king of the universe. He's our friend. He's our father. But he's also our king. And he told me personally, "You'll understand it all in a blink of an eye why I did it this way. And I'm giving you some understanding of why I've done it this way. But you'll never be able to comprehend it. I can't explain it to you in this realm. But you just have to trust me." And he told that to my son. He told that to me early on when he took us through many date sets through my son's first one to many other ones he gave us personally that we didn't even put on YouTube. And early back in 2013, early 14. And he told us that. He said, "Your faith has pleased me. You've done well. Thank you. Keep believing." And wow, you're just like, okay. That's considered rude on this planet. I don't know what planet you're from, Jesus, but that's considered rude on earth to do that. But I'm kidding because Jesus, you know, he knows what we're thinking, so you might as well tell him. And so, knowing what I was thinking, he addressed it. He said, "You'll understand why I did it this way. Thank you for believing me." And then, of course, then I get all soft and mushy because he's so wonderful. God is always on our side. He's always. I mean, I'm on the verge of tears right now because I'm not really. It's late at night. Well, it's early in the morning. Haven't slept yet, and I don't think I'm able to fully convey into words what I'm trying to get across. But I feel the emotion in it right now, and um, he. If you're a vulnerable bride right now, and you know so much and yet you know nothing, I know so much about the next world. I know so much about how things are going to go down. He's talked to me and told me. He told my son things. He's told me things. He continues to give me glimpses of my future and all the great things. I mean, it's cool. I know my mansion is going to be made of glass. I know, he's giving me a mate on the other side that I've had dreams about, that he's talked to me about my mission and children and just so many things. And so I know so much about how it's all going to go down, but all that doesn't apply until he gets here. So to still live on this realm, I don't really know much of what he's doing in this realm. He won't really tell me. I just have to take it one day at a time. And I'm glad he didn't tell me back in 2013 what he was going to make me do, drop out of work, go back to work. I mean, it would have been really hard to hear that. So, it's good that we live one moment at a time. So, on this realm, if you're feeling vulnerable because you don't know anything about, he's requiring you to take it by faith one day at a time, believing that he's coming each day and living really like loosely attached to everything. Yet, you still have to engage because you have to do things in order to keep yourself going in this world. It is, it is, it's a trip. It leaves you, I call it the bipolar walk of the bride. I mean, it leaves you happy one minute, angry, sad, frustrated. I feel powerless most of the time. And that's very vulnerable to feel powerless because I don't have certain means that I could have if if I wasn't being obedient, and I'm not going to do that. But it's sometimes, it's the bipolar, right? It's that wrestling with God. It's that trusting. It's being vulnerable and being okay with it, and being vulnerable and being, you know, um, open to punches that you'll get from still believing things that that haven't come to pass yet, but that you still boldly proclaim. I found myself talking to somebody today about, what I believe is happening with the Antichrist, and even as I was speaking it, I could tell the person listening to me was not really receiving it, because so much of what Jesus has told us hasn't happened yet. Okay. and and um I in my mind I could feel what they were thinking, but I was somehow compelled to say it. And I was just like, Lord, it's so hard to, like, because, like, basically you haven't given credibility to all the revelation yet. So I'm I feel vulnerable. I'm sitting here saying this stuff, and I feel a little bit stupid because, who, why should anyone believe what I'm saying? you know, and but yet we speak boldly and we continue on. But it's very humbling to still be here. In my case, I know some people have been waiting since 2005. Carol has. Jerry's waited, I think, since 2007 or something, or 8. We've been waiting since 2013, me and my son and my family. And so, you know what? The Lord was just sort of revealing to me as I was pondering and resting today that it's a beautiful thing to Him that we remain vulnerable, and to Him and to others around us in this process of holding on to our faith until the rapture, and keeping our lamps lit until the rapture, and to keep boldly proclaiming as He leads, His appearing, um, as He leads. Don't just sit here and do things out of religious spirit. Do things as you're led. People bring a lot of trouble on themselves when they just spout off. The tongue can set a forest on fire, I know. And so we just stay in the Spirit and the Holy Spirit and mighty Jehovah God. And how you do that is just stay in fellowship with your dad. Just talk to him, and always be talking to. I'm always talking to him in my mind and thinking, and so today I was led to an activity, um, to do something that would be happening in the future if we were here, and it kind of was making me sick to my stomach to do it. But this is nothing new. I've had this happen a lot in the last couple of years. Not the first year. I was on a cakewalk of faith because what He did with my son and all the promises. But the last couple of years, whenever I have to do something that pertains to this world and have to make a plan and invest in something, I get this sick feeling. But I have to do it. I have no choice, and it's the right thing to do. But it's hard, and it's almost like today I was like, Lord, is this the wrong thing to do? I almost feel guilty doing this, but I have to if we're still here. And the Lord understands that. And it was fine. It's just my vulnerability to my position. It's my insecurity, because I know what time it is. And I know the very thing that He sort of led me to invest in and do today probably won't even happen. The things that He had me do would be occurring in about 2 weeks. And And I'm like, okay, well, if we're here, I guess we'll be doing that. I don't think we will be. But see, it's very. This is the walk of the bride in this last hour. It's very bipolar. It's very up and it's very down. It's scary. It's vulnerable. It's I feel powerless. I don't have life by the tail like I used to, but I do have my future by the tail. I do know what's up for my next life. I know how things are going to go down. I know my purpose for the next life. I know my purpose during the tribulation period. when I come back in a glorified body. There's so much that I know about that, the realm to come. But this realm, it's nothing to me. I don't care about it. I have to stay engaged because I have a child that I need to support. The Lord supports us, but He uses us to do certain things, and in those things we have to be faithful to. Um, and and He's good, and He'll give us the strength to do it. But if you're in this position right now, and I hope I'm making any sense right now, and I hope somehow I'm making you feel better. If you struggle, when I was feeling sort of sick to my stomach about doing what I had to do today, um, I did feel His kindness and love still at the same time. That's why I'm saying it's the bipolar walk of the bride. I feel His peace, I feel His strength, I feel His love. At the same time, I feel literal physical sickness, nausea, for doing something that means, for the future, for 2 weeks out, planning something 2 weeks out. And when you're a parent, you have to do stuff like that. We're homeschooling. I'm planning physical PE activities. I have to register for things. I have to buy things. I have to set things up. It's just what you have to do. And I dread doing it, but when I do start doing it, I get on an adrenaline roll because I got to get it done. And then, but then I have the, you know, hangover, if you will. Like, God, are we even going to be here for this? I don't even want to do this. And just so you know, the Lord, He was just kind of revealing to me as I was not able to sleep tonight that was faith and that pleased Him. And I'm having a sick feeling going, Lord, I hope you're not displeased with me. I don't think we're going to be here, but you get it. I have to do this for my son. I have to plan this activity. I have to invest money in this right now. And it was just like, He's like, I'm so proud of you, you know? And here I'm feeling bad going, oh my gosh. And He's like, I know you don't want to even be here for this activity. And yet here's what you're doing because you're doing it for my sheep, which is my son. The Bible gives a directive to parents to train up the child in the way they should go and to take good care of your children, to love them, to train them. And so when you're doing that and putting your heart into it, he's pleased. He'll bless you. Whatever your job is before you, that's my main job. And then I take care of my high schoolers when I go to work and do faithful to teach. Right now I'm teaching them, a certain subject, but we just faithful to what God puts in front of us. And it's like your heart is open and bleeding all over the floor, and it's just laid bare before everybody. And the position He's put me in is so vulnerable on so many levels, like on every level you can think of, emotionally, socially, financially. Um, it's just incredible how He has done that. And in my happy moments, I'm joyful about it. In my frustrated moments, I'm like, you're so mean. How can you do this? Let up a little, Or could you just come now? Come on. But it drives me deeper. It drives me um, to trust my groom more, to give him areas of control, to get that foundation of faith even stronger. And I love you guys, and I'm just praying for everyone listening to this that if you're feeling, you know, the sort of hangover from still being here after all your promises and date sets and things like that, just know that the Lord is so pleased with your faith. He loves you. He is coming. His promises always come true. Nothing He's ever said or promised through the prophets and to you personally is a lie. He's good. It will happen. But just go to Him with the vulnerabilities. Let Him minister to you with it through it all. Feel it. Feel all of it. And then be okay with it. And in the end, reject the stuff that's crappy. So I don't have a stomach ache anymore because the Lord gave me release from that because He was showing me what it was stemming from. He was telling me, you've opened up yourself to be vulnerable to those around you and to me. And it's scary. So it gives you pain in the stomach sometimes, you know? And it's scary. So when we get scared, we have physical reactions in our body, and those are just things to watch and say, Lord, I trust you with this. I trust you with this. I trust you. And then we come back to full circle, trust and joy. But it really is an up and down walk until he gets here. Not up and down, tossed to and fro like you don't know who you are. It's the bipolar ride of the bride. It's knowing so much and knowing nothing. It's being the happiest you've ever been at your life, and it's being the saddest you've ever been because you're still here. It's knowing everything because God's revealed to you what's going on, and it's knowing nothing because in your daily life here in this realm, He hasn't given you much of a clue on what to do. Or He just tells you, like in my case, He's told me one day at a time, and He told me 1 second at a time was how I was supposed to live. He told me stop fretting, stop. It brings me no glory. So I love you guys. Stay vulnerable. Stay in that position of when we have no power and when we're weak, His strength is made perfect in our weakness. When we give the power to Him, then the power working through us, is not anything to do with our position in life, but it has everything to do with His position working through our heart to others and to ourselves as we minister to Him. And that's a beautiful place to be in. I feel so blessed right now to be in this position, okay? But it doesn't always feel that way. So I just wanted to give you a glimpse into my life today so you could see what I went through, But you know what? It's the end of the day or even the next day now, and I'm doing great because my God is faithful and He walked me through it. And maybe He walked me through that particular thing just so I could make this video and encourage you if you're, you know, having any understanding of what I'm talking about and are being encouraged in any way. This is our job until He comes, to encourage one another as we see the day approaching. And that's what I'm attempting to do. And I love you so much. Hang in there. Jesus loves you. I hope you can feel His love for you through this video because He is crazy about you. You know what? He's pinching your cheeks and saying you're my favorite kid, because that's how He feels about each and every one of us. And when you really understand the love of God, you'll understand how He can call you His favorite and still love everyone the same. It's only Him, only God can do that. He's just wonderful like that. Okay, we're the different flavors in His ice cream sundae, and He loves my flavor, He loves your flavor, and He's crazy about us. And we show our love for Him and that we're crazy about Him by continuing to believe, by continuing to make ourselves vulnerable and to experience the pain and joy of still being here. That's part of the glory of our walk, and what's making us beautiful to our groom is the faith we're displaying when it's hard, when it's scary, when you have a pit in your stomach. So I love you guys, and I will see you in the air, hopefully today.